her campaign's approach was to turn out the base as much as possible, and they spent a lot of time trying to turn people out and not so much time on persuasion. As part of that, she moved to the left. I mean, look, she had a primary from her left. There were a lot of people in the Democratic Party that weren't pleased with her. By moving to the left, she placated some of them, but obviously not all of them. Not enough Democrats showed up for her in the right places to win the election, and I think there are a lot of people, in fact I know because I talked to them for the book, the sources in the book talk about her inability to go out and unwillingness to go out and try to persuade people.
Well, did they tell you why? Why she felt that she needed to move left? And I asked that in this context. I have a friend, known him for a long time, he's a good man, lifelong Democrat, who wouldn't be seen when he was running for re-election, when he was running for election for an office in Arkansas. He wouldn't be seen with President Obama. He had Bill Clinton come out, and he and Bill Clinton campaigned together. But he was a moderate Democrat. And I said, well, you should run really as a moderate Republican. You really, if you want to get reelected. And his response was, I've been a Democrat my whole damn life. I'm not going to change my party affiliation just because I don't like what's happening in the party. I think there are a lot more him within the Democratic Party, in my experience, than far left. When you were talking to people, did this subject come up at all?
Well, I think any candidate who's successful in a party or successful for the presidency is somebody who's able to bridge the divides within their party, the left, the center, the right, within their own party,
Yeah.
and then attract some other people. So she wasn't able to do that.
Why not?
I think it was a combination of factors, but I think mostly there was an inability to turn out the hard left that was angry at her from the primary, and I think she wasn't able to bring in a lot of those white working class Democrats who she didn't really have a message for.
Why didn't she have a message for them? Her husband was so good at it.
And, that's one of the great inexplicable questions of this campaign. I mean, it was evident to her campaign team that she was having trouble with them, and she just never really focused on it.
Was it because of the drama? You write about the drama within the campaign team.
Yes.
Was it that drama that kept her from being able to see that, or what was it?
No, I think it was more a question of them making calculations, doing data analytics, looking at who was likely to vote for her and how much it cost to turn them out, basically, how much it cost to get each voter. And they basically determined that it was too hard to try to convince some people to vote for her rather than being a little easier and cheaper to turn people out. And that was a fundamental miscalculation.
See, and that's always makes me really skeptical about any politician of any ilk or any brand. It's weird how they don't focus on their message, what it is they want to say. And that really is evidence. There was a lot of calculation going on within the campaign, as well as a lot of drama behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
Tell us about a little bit of the drama behind the scenes. We hear she was just a dreadful human being behind the scenes. Did you have enough evidence to suggest, or did people tell you that that was true?
Our sources told us about a couple of situations where she seemed to lose her temper. There's one good story in the book about after her losing the Michigan primary, she kind of turned on her one of her top aides. He was criticizing her debate performance, her debate prep performance. She was doing her preparatory work on the debate, and he would cut her off and say, "That's not very good." And finally, she got tired of it and said, "Why don't you try it?" And she turned around and made him play her, and she kept cutting him off and telling him he wasn't doing a very good job. There were a couple scenes like that. I mean, there's nothing like, we didn't find anything like the most graphic stories that you sometimes hear, the rumors that you hear.
Exactly.
But no, the infighting is definitely there. The way that she dealt with her staff, she and her husband reamed them out for not being able to figure out how to get past the email issue.
But is that unusual? You and I have been in the world of journalism for a long time. You and I probably, I'll speak for me, have had a lot of fights with editors over the years. I can imagine you might have as well. That's pretty normal, though, isn't it, in a lot of ways, or is this slightly different?
I think it's slightly different. I think that, this was a situation where clearly she was the problem in terms of trying to break through that email storyline and start talking about her economic message, and she was yet lecturing her aides, and her husband was lecturing her aides about what they were doing wrong and how they weren't getting it right. And clearly what she needed to do was apologize and start that contrition thing with the American public. She just wouldn't do it.
She had rumors to be, want to have a political future. There are people in New York who like to see her run for mayor. So, do you think she has the capacity to realize maybe there's some truth to the criticism that I'm the problem and I need to sit down and think about this and fix it?
I haven't seen that so far. But in terms of her running again, one of the things we lay out in the book is this blow by blow of election night, as she's coming to this slow realization that she's losing, and all of the behind the scenes stuff that's going on in her campaign. And as she's talking to the president and future president, and talking to President Obama again. And one of the things she says to her aides after she's conceded to Donald Trump is that this is her last race. They're trying to convince her that she needs to go out there and give a concession speech in which she stands up for democratic values and stands up for people that she thought would be treated poorly under a Trump administration. And she says, you know what, guys, that's somebody else's job now. That's not my job. I lost. That was my last race.
Well, we'll see.
We will
Thank you very
see.
much. I somehow doubt it, but thanks. Jonathan Allen, co-author of a great new book, Shattered Up.